The Life of Charles Edward Stuart, Bonnie Prince Charlie. Charles Edward Stuart, immortalized as Bonnie Prince Charlie, holds a singularly romantic place in the annals of Scottish and British history. Born on December 31, 1720, in Rome, he emerged as a living symbol of hope by a fervent movement dedicated to restoring the Stuart lineage to the thrones of Great Britain and Ireland. His life, a tapestry woven from ambition, fiery passion, and enduring tragedy, was defined by his unyielding quest to reclaim his family's lost crown, a mission that ultimately ended in heartbreak and disillusionment. Early life and heritage. The weight of royal exile. Charles Edward Stuart came into the world as the eldest son of James Francis Edward Stuart, the Old Pretender, and Maria Clementina Sobieska, a Polish princess with a regal lineage of her own. The Stuarts' path to exile began with the Glorious Revolution of 1688 to 1689, during which the Protestant William of Orange usurped the British throne, relegating the Catholic Stuarts to the shadows of European courts. Charles grew up in this crucible of exile, his youth marked by tales of lost glory and whispered hopes for a Stuart restoration. As he matured, Charles embodied the traits of a charismatic and striking young man. With piercing eyes, flowing red hair, and an aristocratic demeanor, he cut a dashing figure among his contemporaries, a fact that would later prove instrumental in rallying followers. His upbringing was steeped not only in royal ambition, but also in staunch Catholicism, lending his claim an additional layer of ideological fervor. The future Bonnie Prince Charlie, however, was not merely the product of royal intrigue. He was a living symbol of a cause that many Scots and other disaffected subjects would come to revere and fight for. The road to the 1745 Jacobite Rising, seeds of rebellion. The early 18th century was a turbulent era in Britain, with political loyalties divided between supporters of the reigning Hanoverian dynasty and those who remained faithful to the deposed Stuarts. Charles's father, James, made several unsuccessful attempts to reclaim the throne, but each failure only deepened Charles's resolve. By 1744, at the age of 23, Charles had traveled to France with dreams of a grand invasion of Britain. His plans, however, were initially thwarted by bad weather and tepid French support, leaving him frustrated but not disheartened. In 1745, Charles took matters into his own hands. With a mere handful of supporters, he landed on the west coast of Scotland, near Ariskay. His mission: rally the Highland clans, march south, and restore his father as King James III of England and James VIII of Scotland. The endeavor was as audacious as it was fraught with danger. Many Highlanders were wary, their memories haunted by past defeats and their loyalties fragmented. But Charles's charm, confidence, and promise of French reinforcements kindled a flicker of hope. Slowly but surely, he began to build an army. The Jacobite Rising of 1745. Glory and peril. The rebellion gathered steam on August 19, 1745, when Charles raised his father's standard at Glenfinnan. Clansmen from across the Highlands flocked to his cause, driven by dreams of restoring their ancient rights and reclaiming Scotland's honor. The Jacobites surged southward, scoring decisive victories. The most famous of these was the Battle of Prestonpans in September, where they routed the British forces under Sir John Cope in a matter of minutes. Charles's leadership and charisma were on full display, earning him the admiration of his followers and striking fear into his foes. Buoyed by their success, the Jacobites marched south into England. By December, they had advanced as far as Derby, a mere 125 miles from London. For a fleeting moment, the restoration of the Stuarts seemed within reach, but hopes of widespread English support and French aid proved illusory. The Jacobites faced mounting logistical challenges, dwindling supplies, and an increasingly resolute British response. Reluctantly, Charles agreed to a retreat northward, a move that would mark the beginning of the end. Culloden, the last stand. On April 16, 1746, the Jacobite army met its fate on the windswept moor of Culloden, near Inverness. It was here that Charles's forces, weary and ill-supplied, faced a well-trained and disciplined British army under the command of the Duke of Cumberland. The battle was swift and brutal. In less than an hour, the Jacobite cause lay in ruins. The Highlanders, many armed only with broadswords, were no match for the government's artillery and musket fire. Thousands were killed or wounded, and the survivors faced ruthless repression in the aftermath. Culloden was not just a defeat for Charles, it was the death knell for a way of life. Highland culture, traditions, and clan structures were systematically suppressed in the years that followed. Charles fled the battlefield, his hopes of reclaiming the throne shattered. For months, he evaded capture, thanks to the loyalty and courage of his supporters. The most famous of these acts of defiance was his escape to the Isle of Skye, aided by Flora MacDonald. Disguised as her maid, Charles slipped through the net of government patrols, cementing his place as a romantic hero in the eyes of generations to come. Exile, disillusionment, and decline. Following his escape, Charles returned to France, where his presence became a diplomatic liability. The French, wary of antagonizing Britain, distanced themselves from the fallen prince. Cut off from the political and military support he once commanded, Charles descended into a life of aimless wandering and growing bitterness. His charm and charisma faded, replaced by a sullen, paranoid, and at times violent demeanor. He turned increasingly to alcohol, estranging himself from even his most loyal followers. In 1772, Charles married Princess Louise of Stolberg-Gedern, but their union was marked by discord and unhappiness. Childless and isolated, Charles's behavior became increasingly erratic, leading Louise to eventually leave him. By the time of his death on January 31, 1788, in Rome, the once vibrant bonny Prince Charlie had become a tragic shadow of his former self, a broken man, haunted by past glories and unfulfilled ambitions. Legacy and romanticization, a hero in memory. Despite his failures, bonny Prince Charlie's legacy endured, transforming him into a figure of legend and lore. To many Scots, he remains a tragic hero, a symbol of a lost cause and a poignant reminder of the sacrifices made by those who believed in the Jacobite dream. His story has inspired countless works of literature, music, and art, most notably the haunting ballad The Skye Boat Song, which captures both the romance and melancholy of his flight from Scotland. Historians may debate the wisdom of Charles's decisions and the true impact of his leadership, but there is no denying the emotional resonance of his story. The Jacobite Rising of 1745 was more than a military campaign. It was a battle for the soul of a nation, and Charles was its flawed yet captivating champion. His life stands as a testament to the power of ambition, the allure of charismatic leadership, and the enduring grip of historical memory. In the end, Charles Edward Stuart was a man caught between myth and reality, a prince who dared to dream, a leader who inspired devotion, and a figure whose legacy echoes through time. The story of bonny Prince Charlie is one of hope and heartbreak, a reminder of both the glories and the costs of rebellion.
Don't forget to subscribe and like. Also, it is very important to comment and make suggestions, and that we can make more videos of what you like. We appreciate you watching our videos and supporting our channel. Thank you for watching, and click on additional videos to help with our YouTube algorithm.